Hey friends, Liz here with Full and Filled. Excited that you're tuning in today. It's a what I eat in a day, also some things that I'm doing around the homestead, so I hope you enjoy this video. Lots of fun meals coming your way that are actually super simple.
Morning coffee with the pups making noise. It wouldn't be a blissful morning without the dogs playing with their toys and each other. Me drinking some coffee and excited for you to be here today. I am going to be covering just a bunch of things that I am up to, and it's gonna be a really fun day. Not much on the schedule. I do have a few calls, but come along and let's see what I'm up to.
While my oats are warming up, I am taking my zucchini that I made and I'm going to add zucchini to my oatmeal. So I'm just going to get it thawed out in the microwave and then I will add it into my oatmeal. Drinking some lemon balm tea. Delicious. Microwave is going off. Now I'm going to add this into the microwave. I've done many videos of my overnight oats, but this is what they look like. So delicious. I warm them up for a minute and a half and it's perfect temp. Here's my zucchini. You can even see the water content in it. I'm taking my oatmeal, adding my oatmeal into here. So I will stir it up. And you can do like cauliflower or anything like that. I love zucchini, so it's just a great added bonus to my oatmeal. It does, change the color a little bit, but I mean, it's yummy. And to be honest, besides seeing it, you don't even notice it. Yum. So technically this is 50-50. And I also want to point out, you don't have to do 50-50 every single meal. I strive to do it. Sometimes I do it. Sometimes I'm such in a hurry. I just warm this up with no zucchini or no cauliflower or broccoli or anything like that. So I aim to do 50-50 plate every single meal or day, give or take, but it doesn't always pan out that way. But it's really important that I get my starch, and then any other vegetables that I add in is like an added bonus. So this morning, I'm going to feed my sourdough starter, and I'm gonna make some bread today. People ask me a lot, you always are making bread. Do you eat that much bread? I'm really trying to perfect my skills at sourdough, and it's really fun. It's almost turned into a hobby. And so I've been gifting it to like people at the post office and also neighbors and so forth. So I'm just enjoying doing it. It's a new skill that I learned, and I feel like it's like an art and a craft that I'm learning. So I'm just perfecting it. And in order to do something and learn something, I have to do it quite a few times. And so I'm enjoying doing it. Do I have some bread? Yes, but that's also because I'm close to my goal weight. So, I'm really trying to maintain, but also not be super strict with myself. I probably will continue to lose weight. Dr. McDougall says that eventually, if you just keep eating this way, you'll get to your optimal weight and you'll be there, and if you just continue eating this way. And so that's what I'm really trying to do, give or take. I'm down like a few pounds every once in a while and I'm loving it, but I'm also not being too hard on myself. But before, you would want to make sure that you're eating your vegetables as many meals as you possibly can. Now I'm gonna do a little bit of work, but enjoy my breakfast. All right, So this is my active starter, and I feed it every single day. This is my discard, and I will eventually make some recipes. If you guys are interested in me doing like a little sourdough class, let me know, comment below. I probably would enjoy doing that with you guys. I mean, I'm constantly learning, and I think we could learn from each other. So this is cold, and this is room temperature. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take half of my sourdough, put it in here, and put this back in the fridge, and then I'm gonna feed this one. And then I will be making bread. So I'm gonna feed this one and then get it ready for my next bread cycle. So you can tell I'm only keeping a little bit of sourdough left, and I'm going to feed it. So I'm gonna take this, put this in the fridge. And you do want it in an airtight container in the fridge. So I'm taking 1/4 cup of my flour. And I'm gonna take 1/4 cup of water. And from here, I'm just gonna mix it up. And it should be pretty cake-like batter. And I'm gonna let this sit for a few hours so that it really starts to activate. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set this in my laundry room in an area that doesn't get much of a draft and that it's a little bit warmer, and this will start activating. Super easy. I already have steamed potatoes. I make steamed potatoes every single weekend. This is a really good prep idea for you. And I'm taking 3 potatoes and I'm cutting them in half. If they end up being bigger, I end up cutting it one more just because I do like these pretty crispy. But what I'm doing here is I'm just gonna smash them down. And from there, I will air fry these. And I actually don't even put any seasoning on these. I just literally put them in the air fryer, 30 minutes at 400 degrees, depending on your oven or air fryer. And this will be my meal with some veggies. These all, I'm gonna put them in my tray. So I have my tray here and I will start stacking the potatoes on my tray. And I take these little crumbs and I just put them on top. And it really helps crisp them up a little bit. And if you want them more crispier, I sometimes just go back and smash a little bit better once they're on the tray. could do like a little crisscross here. And there we go. Adding to the air fryer. I have my 50-50 plate here. For my lunch today is going to be this cabbage. And I took fresh cabbage here, but then I'm going to also add in my sauerkraut that I made. Adds in some really nice flavor. So there we have that. My standard dressing is going to be a little bit of coconut aminos and Dijon mustard. And we'll add in the potatoes once they're done. So here's my full meal. I have my beautiful potatoes and then my cabbage slaw mix, 50-50 plate. Then I am taking about 2 tablespoons of hummus. This is oil-free hummus. And going to dip my potatoes in that. And I really have been craving barbecue sauce, and so I will dip a little bit of potatoes in my barbecue sauce. All right, making my sourdough today. So here is my starter. It's been sitting out for quite a few hours, and it looks perfect for this. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm going to use my scale, and I put the bread bowl on top, zero it out, and I will link some measurements down below. And because I'm using a scale, I work in grams. I know I've gotten questions about that, but I just do it with my scale. It's the easiest way to measure everything out for me. So this is 1 set of flour, red flour that I'm using. So I'm zeroing out my machine here, my scale. So now that I have that, I'm just going to use my tool here and stir up the mixture and put it over to the side. I now am going to mix in the liquid and the starter, working in grams again, adding in the water, and taking my starter and stirring it, and then adding in most of this into here. And then I will need to feed my starter again because it's going to be really low. So now I'm going to take my mixture, it's floating in here, and I'm just going to stir this all up. So I got this stirred up here. Now I am going to pour all of this in. Make sure all the starter gets in there. You're gonna mix, mix, mix. Get a nice arm workout. Picking up all the extra flour that's in here. can always get your hands dirty if you want. I do towards the end. So I'm gonna let this sit for about 30 minutes, and then I will add in the remaining ingredient, which is salt. But I'm gonna measure it out now so that I can put my scale away. So I'm just putting the lid on for a short amount of time. Then I'm gonna go back to my scale here. Turn it on, zero it out. And once again, I'm using grams. What I'm doing now is I literally put the salt on top of this while it sits in here for like 30 minutes, so I do not forget to do anything with this. So I'm gonna put the timer on for 30 minutes and then add in the salt. In the meantime, we now have just a little starter left, so we need to feed it. So we're gonna do exactly what we did at the beginning, where we have to put in the flour, water, and then stir it all up. Gonna add the lid, and I won't need to feed it until tomorrow. Putting it back in my laundry room. All right, it's been a little while, so I'm gonna take the lid off, and I actually am wearing a glove for this part because it's what I prefer. So I'm gonna lay this out like this, add in the salt. I like to kind of put it on the top here, and then just start folding it over. I feel like the salt ends up drying out my hands, and so during this part I do use a glove. So now that that's all incorporated, I will close this, put this in my laundry room, and let it sit for probably about 4 to 5 hours. I'll keep an eye on it, and then I will form it into what it's gonna be. All right, so this has been sitting for about 4 to 5 hours. So I have my basket that I'm going to put the dough in after I work with it a little bit. So I have this one ready. I am going to put in brown rice flour on the bottom of it. So I have that ready. I'm gonna add some bread flour on my little board here. So here we have it. Here is the dough. And what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna slide it on out. Onto the board, and then I can work with it. So here I have the loaf. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to get it all nice and formed. Keep working it, and I'm actually going to put the bottom of this down into the bowl. So there we have our loaf. And then what I do here is this is gonna go into the fridge overnight and I'm gonna bake it in the morning. So I have this loaf cover and this will go into the fridge. All right, so this is dinner, my 50-50 plate. I have Dijon mustard ketchup over steamed potato and a bunch of green beans. They were frozen, but they actually look fresh. All right, so it is the next day and I just took this out of the fridge and here's what I have. So you can tell that it firmed up really nicely. So I am taking my Dutch oven and I'm lining it with parchment paper. And I like to get it ready like this. And then I pull it out because then it kind of already like formulates where it's gonna be. So then I am just going to tip it over into here. Oh my goodness, it's so beautiful. So beautiful. So I have this and it's like all nice and firm. I'm going to design my bread. So I'm opening it up in the center and just gonna make a few indents here. There you go, you can see that I designed it and I'm going to prop it back into here. Try to get the parchment paper so it doesn't make any creases in the bread. Not always perfect, but try. So we have this here. Move it over, just adjust it as needed. Give it some room to move. Then I'm gonna put this on it, the lid, and add it to the oven for 20 minutes at 480 degrees. And then I will take the lid off for the remaining 15 minutes at 450 degrees. All right, so the bread has cooled for about 2 hours. And here is what we got. I'm super excited about it. It's super pretty. As I mentioned, I'm really just learning how to do this and I'm pretty excited about this. So this is definitely a learning skill that I am working on, but not too shabby. So here is the inside of the loaf. Beautiful, beautiful sourdough. You can tell that the bubbles were in there. So delicious.
I didn't eat. I literally was like, I knew I was gonna eat potatoes, so I'm like, what am I going to make? So I am sauteing some onions here. I am going to add in some cauliflower, some kale that I have, some vegetables, some classic mixed vegetables, and also some frozen zucchini for all of my vegetables, and then I will add in my potatoes. So you can see here I've added everything but the kale. Just gonna let all of this cook down for a while and then it will be done. The frozen vegetables help it bring moisture to the dish as well. So then you don't have to add in as much water.
So here I have incorporated everything but the spinach, and we'll add that in a few minutes. Spinach from my garden, adding that in, and I will turn this off and start plating my meal. Here is my dinner, and I have sourdough bread, a little bit of hummus, and my sauerkraut on top. I appreciate you watching this video. I would love a thumbs up. Feel free to comment. I would love to hear from you. An added bonus would be to subscribe to my channel for videos coming your way twice a week. Until next time.